This conference will now be recorded.
When it will work, when it won't work, I don't know. Actually, this is too much. Yeah. So let's start today's session. And in the last session, we were discussing about Windows Forms application, and we have given basic idea how to drag and drop controls and how to give the control names and all these things. And today we'll look into some text box control examples. After that, we'll go for some logical programming, for calculator programming, all these things. So first I want to try to make you to understand the event section here. So text box is the very important control for every time when we want to accept text from the user, or when we want to input text to the user. In this case, we can use text box control actually here. So let me add one window form here. I'm adding the window form. Once we add window form, I'm just dragging and dropping some text box control in this case. So let's go for text box control, dragging and dropping. Go to toolbox. Now you can see when we go to toolbox, in this toolbox, I'm going to drag and drop text box control here. So there are common controls, all Windows Forms control, menu control, so many controls are available here. And in this common controls, I'm expanding text box control. I'm going to show you. This is text box control. So once we drag and drop, and text box control is the commonly used control, and text box control is used to accept text to the user, text from the user, and also it is used to display text to the user. Both the ways it will show you. That means it will display some text to the user and it will accept some text from the user. Both the cases it will use text box control. So let me select text box control, go to properties. I want to expand the font size for the text box control. Let's expand font size. I'm taking 20 size and make it as bold only. This is the text box control, and important properties and events also I want to discuss. So when we run this form 4, if you want to run this form 4, you have to change startup object in the window form. To change startup object in the window form, you can go to Solution Explorer of your Windows Forms application. In this Solution Explorer, double click on program.cs. Once you double click on program.cs, there your form name is available. That is that recently what form you have worked. Right now, we previously executed form 3. Now form 4 I'm using here, form 4. So let's give the name of the form is 4 and click on save it, then save changes. Let's hit this run button. So text box control is going to execute with form. Okay, this is common. Next here, I'm trying to add some text in the text box control. I'm trying to add some text in the text box control. Now let me load the form. Now it is taking time to load. Let it be load. Now form is executed. You can see this is the text box. When I type, okay, now you can see when I try to write some text in this text box. So now you can see any text you can able to type, but how long you can able to give the text here? What is the maximum length of this text box capacity? To see the maximum length of this text box capacity, just you can select the text box control, go to properties, and you will able to find the properties here, max length properties there. Look at here, what is the number here? 32,767 characters maximum text box will accept. Suppose I want to reduce the length of the text box, only 10 characters I'm giving, 10. So I'm giving 10 length. Max length is 10 for the text box. And after max length giving, when we run this, so maximum length of this text box control is what? Only few characters, like 10 characters only it will accept, not more than that. I'm trying to run this. Now you can say MOHN, Mohan and Mohan. 10 characters, more than 10 characters, I can't able to type it. It's not allow me. Because this is the maximum length I've given text box, 10 characters only. So by default, max length of text box control is what? 32,767 characters we can include in the text box. But I'm setting max length is what? 10 only. So 10 means 10 characters only it will take actually now. Okay. So let it be default length only 32,767 characters. This is the default. And next here, if I try to enter this text box value, okay. For example, select this text box control, go to properties. There is a uh, multi-line option is there. You can see multi-line option is there. Multi-line false is there by default. When we set it to true, then multiple lines we can enter into this text box. You can drag and drop. This text box is having multi-line properties. So this text box can be used for message typing or uh, long text we can able to type in this text box. So you can enter multiple lines here. So this is just for message typing purpose. We use this text box like this. It is going to be accept like this. This is what multi-line option true. When we select this and go to properties, multi-line option I'm making false. Again, it is normal text box only. And one more thing, if I assume that if I entered this text box, some password purpose, I'm using this text box. Assume that I'm using this text box for password purpose. So I'm entering password here. Whatever you enter the password here, that password is visible to all. Okay. So that's what you may feel this is not secure. So I want to, while typing password, it should be hide to anyone. So now I'm selecting this text box control, go to properties. There is a password character properties there. So password character, you can set star or any character also. Now, when I set password character star means now onwards, when we run this form and when we enter some text in the text box, that text box password is completely secured manner. It's not going to be run. Now you can see. Okay. Yes. So this is completely password. It is completely hide mode only. Okay. It is completely hide mode only. Yeah, more numbers or something like this. I'll show you calculator program also. You are asking, no? First, I have to discuss about events of the text box. Then I will start that programming clearly. So with validations. Now this is one of the property. So when we write password character, password is coming now. Sometimes you can see text box is having text property. Text property means default text what you want to display whenever text box is loading. That default text we can use. Suppose welcome is the text, default text. This is welcome. By default, welcome text is appear on the text box control. This is the default text, sir. Just observe. This is the default text. Welcome. But note this point, after displaying default text here, yeah, you can arrange. I'm not getting what. You can arrange table for text box. You can label. You can arrange label for text box also. Yes, this is arrange label for text box. Enter your name or something. But this is not going to be hide. No, this is not going to be edit. This is not going to be edit. That is in web ASP.NET is possible. I understand that label means whenever we enter this label, this whenever I click with mouse pointer here, cursor is blinking, this welcome should go, but it's not going to be here. That is not possible in Windows form. That is possible in ASP.NET web form. When I click this enter username, for example, if I use label, that label will go and you have to enter username. But my question is here, whenever I am trying to edit this editing is possible. I can able to remove this text, default text. But if you are using this text boxes for result purpose, for example, that text box is you are using for result purpose, that result we can't edit, no? That result we can't edit. So result is standard. We cannot edit the result. That's what I'm trying to do. So this text box, if you don't want to allow editing, there is a property called read only property is there. What property? Read only. Read only property false Here true I'm saying. Whenever I am saying read only true means automatically this text box will not allow to edit or will not allow to modify. It is just for read only read only option. Read only option means we can't edit the text in this text box now. We can't edit. So here welcome, we can't edit this completely here. It's not possible. Okay. So welcome text is not going to be editable mode. It is standard mode. So if you don't want to allow changes on your text box, what option you have? Read only property you have to make true. But by default, it is false only. So these are all text box properties. Text box properties means how to use the text box control according to our requirement. How to use the text box control according to our requirement. Next, I'm talking about text box events. So some important events are there, text box event. So for that event discussion, I'm taking text box control here, copy this and paste into here. 3 text boxes I'm taking here. Again, 3 text boxes I'm taking here. So total number of text boxes are 3. Select these 3 text boxes all together. Go to properties. You can expand font, and font size is what actually 15, and font bold is 2 I'm taking. So these 3 text boxes font size is available. But as soon as when we hit this start button, so by default in 3 text boxes, cursor is blinking on which text box are by default. You can see first text box. Okay, cursor is blinking on first text box. So my requirement is whenever I'm going to leave this cursor from text box 1, how to leave? Just press tab key, automatically will leave that. As soon as when the cursor is leave from first text box, I want to display welcome text on first text box. So how it is possible? We have to raise leave event for text box control. So every control is having events and properties. So using properties, just we can arrange the controls, control style, control background color, foreground color, like this, height and width, all these things. But events means some action is performed. So I'm selecting this first text box control and go to properties and click on events option is there here, events. This is the events button. Once you click on events button, the default event for text box control is text changed. But here I'm going to raise the leave event of the text box, leave, L-E-A-V-E, leave event is there. So here you can double click on it. Automatically text box 1 underscore leave event is fired. In this case, I want to write code. What code? Text box 1 is my control name here. You can see text box 1 is control name dot text equals to what text I have to display on text box 1? Welcome text box. Welcome text. When it has to display welcome text, whenever I leave the text box 1. When I leave the cursor from text box 1, automatically for this text box 1 leave event will be raised. In this leave event, what I have written, that code will be executed now. You can see. This is the event handling in Windows Forms for controls. Now let's hit the start button. Now just observe here, cursor is blinking right now in my first text box. As soon as when we hit the tab key, automatically cursor is going to leave. Leave event is firing, automatically welcome text is presenting. Okay, this is the way to raise events. Next, my requirement is whenever I click with mouse, okay, I should click with mouse on which text box? Second text box. When I click with mouse on second text box, immediately the third text box background color should be changed. So how I can do? Where I have to perform events on second text box. Action is going to be performed on second text box. When I click with mouse on second text box, background color of third text box should be changed. How it should be? You can see this. Second text box I'm selecting, going to properties. In this, I'm just clicking on what actually click event. Now you can see click event is there. Double click on click event. So text box 2 underscore click event is raising. In this click event, what action I want to perform? Third text box action I want to perform. So text box 3 dot background color equals to color dot red. I'm taking color dot red. So my requirement is as soon as when we click on second text box, third background color should be changed automatically, color dot red. Let's run this. So these events I'm going to use in my next example. That's what I'm covering first, only the text box events. Now first event is leave event. As soon as when we hit the tab, automatically cursor is leaving from first text box. Immediately welcome text is appearing on first text box. When I click with mouse on second text box, automatically background color is changing red color or not. Yes, this is the events associated with the text box, which I'm going to use in upcoming program. So next program I'm trying to discuss.
Sir, excuse me, sir. If you don't want to see welcome, then what to do, sir?
What to do? Don't write the code.
Already we have written, no?
Already I have written.
If you don't want.
If you don't want means we can't see this text. That's what I'm saying. So whatever code you have written, that event is raising automatically. If the event is automatically raising, that code is going to be appear automatically.
Okay, so now we have performed two actions now, sir. First one is welcome, second one is color changing.
Color changing, but we are performing actions on each and every individual events. First text box, first text box leave event I am firing. Whenever cursor is leaving from first text box, this event will be raised. In this event, we have written code. Okay, now you can see in this click event, if you don't want to visible the text box one dot visible equals to, we can do false. So you are asking, I think this is only. Now let's run this one.
Yes, sir. Yes.
I thought that on first text box you want to perform like that. I thought that different. Now you can see cursor is leaving. Once cursor is leaving, what is happening? Welcome is coming. Whenever I click with mouse on second text box, background color, three text box will be changed red color, and first background color is completely, first text box is going to be visible. False. False means it's not visible, appearing.
In the first itself, we can't do, sir, without showing welcome. That is what yesterday I just deleted that method, sir. Whatever I wanted to not to show.
No, text box one dot text box one dot text equals to, we can make empty. First one we cannot. First one also you can write it immediately. Leave event. If I try to do here leave event, what will happen? You can see this. First welcome is going to display, and again it will make empty only. That is not correct, no? You can see tab key, it is there. It is coming and it is going. It's not displaying right now. That is not correct, I'm saying. So in one event, we are doing text and we are doing leave. This is actually correct requirement. You can see in the click event, what I'm trying to do, text box one dot text empty means automatically that text box will be empty whenever I click on second text box. First leave event is firing, welcome is coming. When I click with mouse on it, background color third text box is there, and this text is removing because empty I have given in this event.
Okay.
Button click event, I have written text box one dot text equals to empty, means nothing is there in this. This we can do. So now I'm going to perform some operations on every text box event. But before going to perform some operations, I want to tell you here control identification of Windows forms. Control identification means what? Identify the control by its name. Identify the control by its name. For example, you can say this here, text box one, control identification, control name is what? Text box one. Here text box 2, control identification is text box 2. But imagine that you are preparing some registration form. In that registration form, some 20 fields are there, 20 text boxes you should take. But every text box name, text box 1, text box 2, text box 3, text box 4 means, while at the time of writing code, okay, at the time of writing code, okay, you cannot identify which number of text box control for what purpose. The number of text box, for example, text box 9 for mail ID, for example. You may write text box 9 for other option, other field also. So that is not correct. That will be more confused. So if you can give the better names for your text boxes and buttons and so on. So that giving name of the control is called identification. We can identify the control by its name. So how to identify the control by its name? We'll look into that. So normally standard naming conventions we will follow in real time. So that is text boxes generally can start with txt. Text box name convention starts with txt. Suppose label names convention starts with lbl. LBL means label. And button convention starts from btn only. Radio button convention starts from opt, option. Checkbox control convention starts with chk, checkbox. List box convention starts from lst, means list box. Like combo box is there, combo box in the sense drop down list only. Combo box convention starts with cmb. So that like this, many controls names we have to use it, but starts with this one only. For example, one text box I'm taking for username. Txt name should start, then after that username you have to give. Username if you are using for text box username. And if you are using text box for password, txt password you have to use. If you are using text box for mail, txt mail you have to use, like this. Suppose there are buttons are there, so many buttons. btn submit purpose, you can take btn submit. If you want to add two numbers btn using button, btn add or btn sub or btn multiply, like that one. The name btn is standard. After that, you can give the purpose of the name of the text box control. Let's try to find some logic with buttons and text boxes here. In this example, I'm taking. So first, I'm going to take this example. Labels I'm taking first. 3 labels I'm taking. 3 labels. I'm copying these labels. 1 label, 2 label, 3, like this. 3 labels I'm taking. All 3 labels, yes. Now text boxes also I'm taking. 3 text boxes. Text box 1, copy this. Text box 2, and the text box 3. 3 text boxes. Next, what I'm trying to say, buttons I'm taking. For example, button. This is button. Let's copy this and paste into here. This is button 2 and button 3. Button 4. I want to do arithmetic operations all. Let's select all together at once. Go to properties. Now text box font I'm taking just 15 and bold. All the font size is incrementing. Now in this label 1, I'm using properties. The text is the label is what I actually text. Text means what? What you want to make appear on the label. Enter num1. First number I have to accept. This is enter num2. Second number I have to accept. Enter num2. This is what actually result. Result. This is first text box I'm taking. txt num1. txt num1. This is what? txt num2. Because the name sort starts from txt, then num2 is this is. This is txt result. txt result. Next, this button control I'm taking properties and name is btn add, because this button is for addition of 2 numbers. And text is what? Add. Text means what it is going to display on this button. Text, add button. This is add. Same like this, I'm properties selecting. Text is what? Subtract. And control name is what? btn sub. btn is a standard name, sub is a subtraction purpose. My purpose of the button control for what I'm just taking. Now similarly here I can say multiply. btn multiply. And button text is what actually? Multiply. mul multiplication. And here I'm taking division. Button text is division. And btn divide I'm taking. btn division. This is division button.
Sir,
like
అక్కడ ఎందుకు రాస్తున్నాం సార్ మనము నేమ్?
Why name you are writing means if I don't give name, what will happen in this case? Button 1, button 2, button 3, button 4. When I double click on add button, you can see my name is coming what? btn add underscore click. That name
అంటే
through we can
ఆ స్పెసిఫిక్ బటన్ కన్నట్టే సార్.
See, if I don't give name of the button, what will happen? Button 1 underscore click will come. Next button 2 underscore click, button 3 underscore click. For which button, for which operation, how do you know?
అదే ఆ కోడింగ్ వచ్చి ఆ బటన్ కి సంబంధించింది కాబట్టి అట్లా యూనిక్నెస్ నేమ్ పెట్టుకుంటున్నాం, అంతేనా సార్?
Yes, exactly, unique name. Because when I look this name, I can write in this event adding two numbers. When I double click on subtract, I can write in this button subtract code I have to write.
Yeah, perfect sir. Thank you sir. Super sir.
So this previous example events I'm going to leave, just observe here. I'm going to write code for addition of two numbers. So first number I'm taking int a, b, c, three values. A equals to int dot parse. We can also use symbols, plus symbol, minus symbol. That is your wish, no problem. So int dot parse of console dot read line. Okay, yeah. Now b equals to int dot parse of console dot read line. Sorry, it is my mistake because it's not a console application. Okay, it's what application? Windows Forms application. So in this Windows Forms application, there we are entering the first number txt num1 is control name dot text. This. Okay, yes, this is the case. So this text box, whatever we enter the value, that will be converted into integer type, and a is integer type only. Next, b equals to int dot parse of txt num2 dot text, and c equals to a plus b. How do you know a plus b? Because we are writing addition of two numbers. So this c value I have to store into where txt result text box is there. That third text box I have to store. C dot toString I am taking. Why? Because c is what? Number. That number should convert into string because text box will accept text only. So same code I'm copying and place into inside the subtract button event. Only I'm changing the operator, that is instead of plus minus. Let's go back here and double click on multiply. I'm copying and pasting that code, and multiply operation we can use star. Again division, then we can use here division. So this is very simple to handle it, but events are very important. Events means some validations are required. Okay, here code is very simple. Button add, two number adding. Button subtraction, two number subtraction. Button multiplication, two number multiplication. Button division is okay. Let's hit this run button. You'll see this, what's going to happen. So validations are important in this case. This writing code is very simple actually. This is arithmetic additions only, nothing is there. I'm trying to enter first number 25 and second number 36. I'm doing add, subtraction, multiplication, division. Everything is working fine. But what is my important requirement here? Validations are required. Validation means what? You have to check whether user is giving valid inputs or not. For example, imagine that first, whenever I execute this, I may not enter first number. Okay, I may leave without enter any data in the text box. I can enter second number only. When I hit this add button, obviously you will get exception. That means runtime error. You can say exception is occurred or not. Yes, exception is occurred. First number is empty. That's what it is giving. Input string was not corrected format. Okay, stop debugging. And there may be chance to enter second number also empty. Means user may not enter second number. First number he can enter, but second number he may skip. Again, it is going to be exception. So this is validation. We have to handle it. How to handle it? Okay. Yes, look at here. So whenever we are trying to leave this text box, when user is trying to leave this text box, immediately I should say message box to the user. Text box should not be empty. Please enter any data in the text box. I have to say that. How I can convey that? Yes, that I'm conveying clearly using validation code. So how to write validation code? So user is trying to leave the text box without enter any data. So for this text box, I have to raise leave event. How to raise leave event? Select text box, go to properties. Okay, Now you can see here, there is a events option is there, and you can click on leave event here. Leave event. It is leave event. Once I double click on leave event, now text num1 underscore leave event only. In this leave event, I have to write the code. If txt num1 if logic dot text equals to empty, means there is no data. Immediately I have to say message box. Message box is a class. Dot show is a method. It's a built-in message box class is there. So I'm saying immediately in message box enter any data. This is simple logic. Under leave event only I have written this expression. If text box num1 dot text equal to empty, means user is don't enter any data in the text box. I should say enter any data. Let's run this. I'm leaving the text box 1 without enter any details. I'm leaving the text box without enter any data. Whenever I'm leaving this text box, leave event is fire. After leave event is fire, message box is showing clearly enter any data. This is message box. And whenever I OK this message box, accept this, but note this point, the cursor is blinking where? On second text box, but I should not blink that cursor in second text box. I should make this cursor still in the first text box only after accepting message box also. Then after this, so for that we can write txt num1 dot focus method is there. Focus means text box cursor should be focused on still num1 text box only, first text box only. So this is the logic. Only one validation I'm satisfying now. So it's like many validations are there. Obviously, you are getting string means that also have to handle validations. Next validation, that is only Mr. Sai. Wait few minutes. Okay, if you ask advanced questions, if I'm not reaching topics, I can't explain. No. So yes. Now you can see I'm leaving text box 1. Enter any data. Once I click on OK, then cursor is blinking where? Cursor is blinking on first text box only. That means you should enter compulsory data here. Without enter, you can't move back, move forward. So I'm entering this. Now it is allow me to enter, leave the text box 1. Here we have to enter. In case if you skip here, again exception will come. So you have to satisfy this type of code for text box 2 also. Let me copy this code here, sir. Copy this code and go to form 4. Okay, select the second text box 2. And second text box 2 also there is a chance to leave. So double click on leave event. Now you can see here I'm taking leave event. Here I'm writing text box 2 dot text equals to empty. Enter any data. Again text box 2 should be focused. So 2 events are successfully done. If my input is correct, if your input is not there, means completely empty, then it should say message box clearly. So what message box? Look at here. I'm leaving without enter any data in first text box. Enter any data is saying, and I have to enter data compulsory. And again I'm second text box also leaving without enter any data, and it is saying any data. Now this time addition, 2 numbers, subtraction, multiplication, division. It's okay. Now validation number 2. Sir, you are entering the data, it's okay. But if I entered some characters like this, okay, now I'm giving my input characters are ABC like this, again XYZ like this. Obviously, you will get exceptions at this moment. The reason is the input string is not correct format again. You are asking numbers, but you are giving characters. If end user is trying to enter some characters, again you have to say message box. What? Don't enter any characters, only digits only. How to validations like that? So when we enter some characters for text box 1 as well as text box 2, you are going to hit the keyboard characters. So there is a key press event is there. That key press event you have to handle it. So how to raise the key press event for the text box? You can see text box control, go to properties, and in the event section, there is a key press event is available. You can see this. There is a key press event. Double click on key press event for txt num1. When user is trying to enter or press keys, immediately the event will be generated and we have to show message box to them. So if char is a keyword, dot is a digit is a method of e dot key char means keyboard character. So if e dot key char equal to what actually? False, I can say that. So observe here this expression. char dot is digit of e dot keychar equal to false means digit equals to false means character is true. That's what I'm saying message box dot show. So enter digits only, I can say that. Enter digits only. Enter digits only. Now once I run this, just observe here. As soon as when we hit the characters from my keyboard into the text box, like for example, ABC I'm typing. When we hit the A character, immediately key press event is generating. So it is saying enter digits only. Again, when we accept this message box, okay, whatever I press key from my keyboard, that key is also present here. That should not happen. So to do this, immediately what you have to do. So here, e dot handled equal to true, I can say that. Whenever I say e dot handled equal to true means E is what's are here. This key press event args is a class. It is an event class. E is an object. This object handled true means previously what event is raised that is going to be handled and it will not appear onto the text box only. Now let's run this once. When we hit this again, ABC characters in my first text box, look at here. I am going to hit this keyboard character. Immediately it is saying enter digits only. When we accept OK, A is not appear here. And I'm leaving this first text box without enter any data. Again, enter any data is saying. So compulsory you have to enter data that make sure that that is digits only. Then only it will allow you to leave. Got my point? Then same thing, second text box also there is a chance to raise key press event. So let's copy this code and select second text box. Go to properties and key press event is available here. You can see key press event. This key press event, you have to write it. Same code you can copy and paste it. Now hit this two validation successfully written here. So user should not leave a text box 1 as well as text box 2 without enter any data. And also user should not enter any characters in both the text boxes. So I'm leaving text box 1. It is not allow me saying message box enter any data. I'm hitting some characters in text box 1. It is saying enter digits only. I have to digits compulsory enter. Next, I'm leaving second text box also. It is not allow me. I'm entering some characters in the second text box. Again, it is saying enter digits only. You must and should enter digits only. Fine. Okay. This is second validation. And now coming to the validation number 3. Validation number 3 is user may enter second number 0. Yes, there is a possibility is there. If user entered second number is 0, addition is okay, subtraction is okay, multiplication okay, but division is not okay. Because you know in our exception cases, so second number cannot divide with 0. If second number is can divide with 0, this is an exception. Where the exception is occurred actually here, this is division click event only. So in the division click event, you have to handle it. How to handle it in the division? So here I have to write after B, I'm checking logical expression. If B equal 0, open bracket, close bracket, message box dot show, what I'm trying to do, second number can't be 0, I can say that. Second number can't be 0. If second number can be 0, then immediately I have to show message box. After that, my focus should be second text box only. So that's what I'm giving txt num2.focus. If second number is not 0, then else part only have to execute. In the else part, I'm writing here c equals to a by b and txt result.text equal to 2.c.toString only. Once I hit this, now this time you can see this. Now you can see first number I'm leaving, enter any data, I'm entering characters, enter digits only, I'm entering some digits, it's okay. Second number I'm leaving, enter any data, I'm entering characters, enter digits only, I'm entering 0, yes, it's okay. Addition is okay, subtraction is okay, multiplication is okay, division is not okay. But whenever I include this, second number cannot be 0. When we hit this OK button, now what is available? Cursor is available on second text box. That indicates that what we have to remove 0. Okay, if you have to remove 0, instead of 0, we have to enter any digit. But make sure that in the removal process of 0, I should press backspace. Whenever I hit the backspace, what is the problem here? You can see enter digits only. The reason is what? Backspace is also one of the key press. As soon as when we press key, then automatically previously key press event was raised. Okay, so this how to handle from your side, you can check it. Okay, tomorrow I will tell you this is very simple. Okay, I want to make sure that I have to remove the 0 by using backspace. It has to allow, but at this moment when I press backspace, it is not allowing. So I want to allow backspace, and also I should not allow any characters like this. This task you can do while practicing from your side. Tomorrow starting session, this is only I will rectify the issue. Only one small changes you have to do in the text box to key press events only. What changes you have to do, you can try from your side. Tomorrow we'll continue from here. So validations, we have to do like that only. Mr. Jafar, wait for 5 minutes. I'll start your ASP.NET Core MVC next 7 p.m. that is.